Alright, this is Scholar Strive doing some more Algebra 2. Now we're going to write polynomial functions that don't have a leading coefficient of 1. So for example, write the cubic function in the graph with x-intercepts at -1, -2, and 1. So this is going to be the intercept x plus 1, the factor x plus 2, the factor x minus 1. All you do is reverse the signs like we did in the last section. Now, the difference between this section and the last section is we have a point now, and our leading coefficient isn't necessarily 1, as in a value is not necessarily 1. So they want to write a cubic function. So remember, cubic function, our highest exponent is 3. So degree 3, that means we have 3 zeros. So we have enough to write our equation. So f of x is equal to a, that's going to be our leading coefficient, and then we have x plus 1, x plus 2, and x minus 1. Okay? Now, since we're given this point, okay, x, y, we're going to plug those in to find out what a is. So remember, f of x is just y. So this is 6. Equals a, what we're looking for, and then x is 0, so 0 plus 1, 0 plus 2, 0 minus 1. So this is 6 equals a times 1 times 2 times -1. So 6 equals -2a. Divide by both sides by -2. And I get a equals -3. Okay. And then the last step, or actually, there's one more step. So after this, so I'm going to rewrite our equation. F of x is equal to -3 x plus 1, x plus 2, x minus 1. Okay. And now they wanted us to write it in standard form. Actually, the example didn't say it, but our step here wants us to. So in order to do that, we're just going to FOIL everything. Well, or, multiply everything out. So I'm going to do, so I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this and this first. So x plus 1, x minus 1. Okay? So I have x squared minus x plus x minus 1. So I have x squared minus 1, because minus x plus x is 0. Okay? So now I have -3 times x squared minus 1, and then x minus 1. Or x plus 2, sorry. And that's what I have left over. Okay? Now, I'm going to take this, do my FOIL. So I have x cubed plus 2x squared. And then -1 times x is minus x. -1 times 2 is -2. Okay. And then we have a -3 out here still. So finally, our answer is f of x equals -3x cubed minus 6x squared plus 3x minus 6. That's our answer. So now we're going to write a cubic function given points. So this is called cubic regression, and we're going to use a graphic calculator to do it. I think I finally found an app that'll work, hopefully. But let's look at an example. Example 2. The table shows the number of vehicles Y in the thousands fueled by ethanol 85 each year from 1999 to 2004. So find a polynomial model for the data. Use the model to predict the number of vehicles that will be fueled by ethanol 85 in 2005. So year 0 would be 1999, year 5 would be 2004, so year 2005 would be 6. So we're going to use a graphing calculator. And here's all our little steps here. You have to enter the data in list 1 and list 2 under stat edit. So I will show you all these things here in just a second. So here we go. Oops. So I'm trying out this Wabbit emu thing. And what it does is it just emulates a graphing calculator for you. I'm using the TI-84 Plus C Silver Edition. You guys will probably have a different one, but let's see how this works. Okay, so we want to create a table. So we're going to go stat. We're going to hit the stat button. See how it's circled right there. Okay. Now in the stat button, when this edit menu, now we're going to hit edit. So hit enter. And now we got a bunch of lists, L1 and L2. So in L1, we're going to put our year. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in list 2, we're going to use the right arrow here. Punch in our data. 24.604. Enter. So these numbers are just from the table. Plus 120. Oops. There we go. 120.951. 133.776. I don't know why, but this program uses like a rumble feature. Every time you press a button, it's kind of weird. Okay, all my data is entered. Your calculator might round up things, and that's perfectly fine. Okay. Now, we're going to view our scatter plot. So normally, if I hit graph, nothing's going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to press second, and then y equals up here. Now pressing second will get me to the stat plot menu. Okay. So remember that second, and then top left, the y equals button. And it says plot 1 off. We want to press enter, and then change it to on. And then we're just going to quit out of there by doing second mode right next to each other. I don't know if you can see my little cursor here, but second, and then mode. Okay, and then we'll go back to graph. And it should... Let me check here. Second stat. Plot on. Hit enter. X list is list 1. X is 2. So when I go to graph, okay, let's try zoom. So right now I press the zoom button because I don't see anything. So I'm going to say zoom stat. There we go. So that's what so when you press zoom, you can use a different features. You can zoom in, zoom out. Zoom fit is pretty good. And zoom stat also is pretty good. Okay, so there's my points. And now we want, so it looks like it's steadily increasing. So we're going to now use our calculator to create a function for us. So we're going to go to stat, and then we're going to go right to calculate, and then we're going to go down. So these buttons are pretty cool. So linear regression lets you create a y equals mx plus b using data. Quadratic regression, that's x squared, and then using data, and then cubic is what we're looking for. We'll create an x cubed function for us using data. So I hit enter, and then for my x list, I'm using list 1, my y list, list 2, and then we're going to calculate and hit enter. Okay, so there is my graph. So they tell you that A, B, C, D is all this. So that's our equation there. Okay, and that's how you do it on the calculator. So let's write all this stuff back out. Okay, let's see what we got here. So we're making a y equals ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. So a equals 1.87. B equals negative 18.53. I'm not going to write out all the numbers because it's way too many. 2 to 3 decimal places is pretty good. D equals 26.8. Okay. Now, so I graphed, oh, okay. So I could have went to window and used these settings. My minimum being 0, my maximum being 10, and then 20 and 190, but it's fine. Zoom fit, or zoom, in this case, since we have a stat, we're using stats, zoom stat would work. Alright. Now, so that was part of the first thing, was to write an equation. So here's our equation. Second thing is we're going to predict what's going to happen in 2006. So we're looking at, x equals 6. Now, we could just plug it into our formula here, but I'm just going to use the graphing calculator again. So here we go. Boom. Boom. Hello, graphing calculator. I really hope this is not sideways when it gets posted. Here we go. So I'm going to go back to stat again. No, I'm not going to go back to stat. I'm going to go back to the graph. And then I'm going to hit trace. Okay. So if I hit trace. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. I was confused. Okay. So I need to put... So go back to stat. Go to calculate. Go to cubic regression. Go back to calculate. Okay, so this is our graph. And we need to plug that in to our y equals function. Okay? And the reason why we're doing this is because we want to be able to predict any y value or x value. So here we go. So I have y equals 1.87x. So x is right next to alpha. It has 4 letters here, x, t, theta, n. And if you just press it, it will give you the x. And then we're looking for a caret here to do our exponents. Okay. 1.87x to the cube minus 18.53x squared plus 70.07x plus 26.8. Then we hit graph. And then here's our line. So look at that. That's actually fitting through quite nicely. And then we can hit trace. And then I should be able to press 6. Oh, come on. Oh, okay. One more thing. So I'm going to go to second stat plot. And I'm going to turn my stat plot off. Now, when I go back to the graph, all there is the line. Wait for it to finish. And now I'm going to hit trace. There we go. Now I'm on the line here. Now I can type in 6. There we go. Error. Go to. It doesn't like 6 for some reason. Oh, I think I know why. Okay, go to the window. Alright, so the window, we're going to say from 0 to 10 with an x scaling of 1. Y minimum is going to be 20. It's 190. Graph. Okay, trace. And then I'm going to type in 6. There we go. So the reason why it wasn't letting me do it before is because it wasn't in the window. So I just increased my x values. And at x equals 6, we have, so at the year 2005, y equals 184.06 thousand vehicles. So let's write that out really quick. Thousand vehicles. Now I say 1,000 vehicles because in the original question it says the number of vehicles y in thousands. Okay. So this is in 2005. Okay. That's it. Hope it wasn't too confusing.